Welcome to the Healing Pod. I'm Megan, a licensed clinical psychologist.
And I'm Jessica, a licensed clinical social worker, and this is our journey of navigating anxiety as we learn to take up space and create an environment where we feel that we can belong.
Join us together as we learn not just to survive, but to thrive in our anxious brains.
This podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional therapy or medical advice. If you are experiencing any mental health concerns, please seek support from a qualified mental health professional or healthcare provider. Remember, your mental health is important, and seeking personalized professional help is key to your well-being.
And welcome back. We have not been recording, but we've been on here for like 30 minutes already, just kind of chatting and not recording, and then realized we should start our next episode because that is the kind of place we are both in tonight.
So welcome to episode 11.
Yes. We're going to look at some random anxiety hacks. So these are coping mechanisms, things to help regulate you, things to try when life is feeling like it is this week. Thought it might be a good idea to go through. Are we taking care of ourselves? And what are some fun ways where we can take care of ourselves?
How do you self-regulate when the world is trying to dysregulate you?
I mean, I was explaining my day to my wife, and she was explaining her day to me earlier. And I'm sitting there, and we have our little 1.5-year-old puppy, and we're working on the place command and keeping him there. So he's on his place, on his chair, and I'm talking through my day, and he's whining more and more and more. It's like, hold on a sec. The dog is feeling everything I'm saying, and he can't handle it. I need to breathe. And I did that.
Please just let me touch you.
He's like, I'm a therapy dog and you're distressed. I'm a therapy dog and you're distressed. I'm in a chair. He scratches his little head, and you take a deep breath, and he calms down. And you're like, all right, that was me. That was not a you. We're not going to yell at you because that was a total me.
Yes. Yeah. I need to breathe after that.
Yeah. See, I'm still in that state. I think that's part of this is I'm still easily falling back into that state. I'm not actually back to baseline yet. I'm just pretending.
And maybe that's why we struggled so hard on finding a topic for tonight.
I think so. I mean, it's just my brain won't settle on any one thing. So it's one of those, what do you want? I'll make something work, but
we're married trying to pick a place to eat right now.
Right? It's like, I'll put food in front of me. I'll probably eat it. Do I feel hungry? No. Do I want anything specific? No. Did I eat already tonight? Yes. Do I need more food? I don't think so. I don't feel hungry. Did you eat tonight?
Yes, I did. I had to think about that.
Yeah. So you're there too, huh?
Always. I feel like I'm always there. I'm switching my screen because I feel like I am looking away from you instead of at you, and that bothers me.
Gotcha.
Might be a little OCD.
I mean, there's a reason we pick the populations we work with. No.
This is true. This is very true.
So yeah, so let's talk about ways to get ourselves back actually in baseline. Always the first one. Come back to that breathing.
Can you breathe?
Laughing. Laughing makes you breathe. Singing does too.
Yes.
Laughing and singing. Both of them. I know for me and for my anxiety clients, a lot of times there's too much air in your lungs. Like the hyperventilating and just that feeling of tightness and everything. Like there's no room and there's no more oxygen. There's no room. And you keep trying to breathe in and there's no room to breathe in. Your lungs are already full. So if I can make myself focus on slowly breathing out, which I am not doing at this moment because I'm talking instead. And then suddenly there's more room. And then my words don't need to come out as fast because I can control the air. And laughing and singing, they both do that. They're both producing sound. So you're exhaling that air, you're expressing that air out, which makes room to take that breath in. Yes. So we're not going to break into opera songs now. Jesse, got any good jokes to tell us? I don't, because I still don't have the brain going yet.
You put me on the spot, so I don't have a joke right now.
My only go-to joke is, what do you call a fish with no eyes? It's so horrible, and I love it, and it's my go-to, like, anytime a kid's like, "I know jokes, can you tell me one?" That's the one I pull out every time, like, "What do you call a fish with no eyes?" But it works.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, I went paddleboarding with my kids this morning. We left the house at 7 o'clock in the morning. I might have been a little delusional and tired because my 2-year-old is boycotting sleep. Love him. He's cute as can be, but he is exhausting. So we went paddleboarding in the Wikiwacha River today, this morning. And there's manatees. And one literally was underneath the kayak. And I was on a tandem kayak with my 16-year-old. And she's like sticking her hand in. I'd been making jokes nonstop about molesting the manatees because it is illegal to pet them in Florida. And I kept making jokes about it. Like, I want to molest the manatee. And she's like, what is wrong with you? Stop it. You cannot pet them. I said, but if nobody sees it, is it really illegal? And she was like, stop it. Stop. So we're going, I'm like paddling, right? And she's riding because she's being a passenger princess. And I see her and she's like got her hand in the water, which she has not put a limb in the water this entire trip. So I was like, what are you doing? And I looked down and there's like a manatee underneath of us. And she's like, I'm trying to scoot us over because she needs up for air and she's going to come up and touch us and it's going to be our fault. So I was like, I'm going to touch it. I'm going to touch the butt. And she's like, stop. What is wrong? That is how I do. So how I regulate myself is laughing at being stupid. I can't help it.
Yeah, you have to. And like these memories, these stories, like, remember that time that we did this absolutely ridiculous thing? Like, that helps. And then you share them with someone and they can laugh with you. And that makes that extra connection. That's that person that sees you, that's there with you in the moment, that you're sharing something with, that you feel, all right, you get me for this moment. You know,
Yes.
laughter lets both of you let go of some of that awkwardness of, and how do we do? And for our lovely FBI agents who are listening in on all our computer stuff, she did not touch the manatee. There was
I've
no
got
manatee
video
touching.
proof. I was recording him with a paddle in my hands. I could not touch the manatee. I was trying
That's
to
true.
get away from him or her, so she did not lift us up because I could see myself riding the manatee on this kayak and like going over.
Yeah. That's still so cool.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, it's awesome though. And then you had the actual experience itself. So getting outside, getting in nature, doing something with your kids, doing something that is completely out of your norm.
Mhm.
Probably not the best while that tired. You have to work on that sleep piece there.
Oh, it
But
was
just
worth it. Though. It was
experience.
relaxing.
Mhm.
Coming back to those mindful moments when you're out on the river, it's calm and it's quiet, and there's your daily stress doesn't matter, right? Because you're focused on paddling, on being present, on being aware of what's happening around you. So it really forces you to be present in the moment, very similar to like when we're out with horses, right? Like
Mhm.
anything could happen. I could get kicked, something, I need to be present in the moment and here instead of 500 miles away inside my brain.
Yes. And it's like it's the same with the horses. It's the same for me. I'm trying to get myself back into actual running. We're doing like a mile and a half at a time right now. So it's very slow. But I was in track and cross country all through high school and all through college. And it was the only break I would give myself. I was so neurotic and so wound up. And so I have to get all the good grades and I have to do this and I have to do this. And 16 credit hours in the semester is perfectly fine. Why don't I make it 17? Like the only time I could not was when I was running because I can't write, I can't read, I can't do anything about all that stuff. I just have to be here and run. And with the horse, it's very similar. You can't do anything about anything else that's going on. You have to be paying attention to the horse, be riding the horse, getting the cues, be communicating, be connecting. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It just takes all that extra stuff and it doesn't get rid of it. It just shows you can put it aside for a minute and survive. It'll be
Yes.
right there. I pick it right back up as soon as I'm done, but I don't have to have it constantly. I can take that break.
And using these for guidance of how to do meditations, right?
Mhm.
So running is a perfect meditation. You're running, that's what your brain can focus on. Can it wander and ruminate about all the things you still need to do? Yeah, absolutely. Those things are always going to be there. And the more you try to push them away, the more that they're going to be prevalent because you have to think about them to push them away, right? So it's bringing yourself back to, all right, I know I have all of this stuff on my mind. It can be there. You're going to chill over here on this side, right? And I'm going to focus on doing that body scan, paying attention to my breathing. What is happening around me? Are there cars going by? Are there animals? What does the air feel like? Just using your running. I don't run. I'm not
Yep.
there yet. I don't run. But, focusing on all of that stuff and bringing yourself away from all these thoughts that are still ruminating over here, but aren't taking your energy anymore because you are choosing to focus on something else while letting them hang out until you're ready to deal with them.
Mhm.
And that is the start of meditation, of being able to
Yes.
say, be there, but you don't
Mhm.
get my attention right now.
Mhm. You don't have to have an empty mind to meditate. You don't have to be able to focus. You don't have to. It is just that practice of, I don't need to do that. I don't need to have that thought. I don't need to follow it through. I don't need to find all the answers. I don't need to give that weight and importance right now because right now I'm just breathing. I'm allowed to just be with myself.
Mhm.
Don't have to disconnect from myself. I can just be here and be aware of it, but not lose myself to go deal with it. And breathe.
Breathing is everything, people. Like, if you're not getting oxygen to your brain, you're just adding to your anxiety. I clearly feel it in my chest. This is where it's at for me.
Yeah. Mhm.
And if you don't breathe, you're depriving your whole body of being able to be
Mhm.
present.
You can't be present. Sympathetic nervous system kicks in because you start to panic because, oh my gosh, I'm not getting enough oxygen. I'm saying too many words instead of breathing.
Yes.
I don't need to be as, okay, we got, breathe. Okay. Let's see. What
Yes.
else? What other tricks we got for meditation? I mean, there's so many different forms of that mindful awareness and that meditation. There's walking, there's eating, there's staring at candles, there's mantras. When I started practicing it, I loved chakra meditations. I loved the guided ones with chakras because I loved visualizing the different colors and it would focus me in on one body area at a time. That's about as far as I get in chakra. I'm not like, "Oh my gosh, this is like," but just the connection of it and the feeling of it and the being able to align all of that helped me to make sense of it and helped me again to just the other stuff can wait. We're focusing on how's your throat feel right now? Happens when you breathe into your throat? What happens when you stretch it out and practice opening it? Things like that. Which
Yes.
is
What about
nice.
music?
Yes, love music. You can meditate with music, just listen to music, focus on it, make your own brain synesthesia. Just always
And
fun.
I think it's important to remember, like, it doesn't have to be, okay, I'm gonna sit and like right? Like, that is not, if that's what people every feel like every time I suggest meditation to people, that's what they see. And
I need a
I
good baseline sometimes.
yes, sometimes
Mhm,
it's while you're driving. For me, like when I'm cleaning, I'm ruminating, right? So I have certain songs that I know I can listen to and they immediately improve my mood. And I
mhm,
turn those on when I'm cleaning, when I'm working, when I'm doing things that I know my brain is going to go away with me and worry about all the things I can't control in that
mhm.
moment. And
Yeah,
it's finding those songs that really take away that anxiety because you're listening to the tunes and like you're dancing, right? Like,
mhm. Yeah,
and you're taking yourself away from what is stressing you out and bringing yourself into a
mm,
positive mind frame.
mhm. Yeah, 'cause it doesn't have to be there's cymbals lightly chinging and just this it doesn't have to be that. Sometimes it is, let the bodies hit the floor and you're just going with it, so if I hear Brooklyn's Here from Newsies, I'm just suddenly running 3 times faster for no good reason just because it's catchy. There's just songs that you're like, "Yes, this one. This is what we're doing." And then
I
you
feel like let the bodies hit the floor on a regular basis.
Yeah. Then you just start heading because it also, for that part, it incorporates the movement. It's hard to be rigid and locked up and tight if you're moving. You know, if your arms start swinging, those shoulders loosen up, your head starts banging, there goes that neck and there goes that jawline. All of the movement doesn't have to be beautiful, graceful, tai chi ballet. It can. That stuff is amazing. It is wonderful. I was in ballet for like 3 weeks when I was 6 years old. It was adorable. There's a video of me turning in the wrong direction with my class. It was great. That was it. Well, like, it doesn't need to be that. Sometimes it's mosh pit. Sometimes it's headbanging. Sometimes it's, doing the robot. It's whatever lets you pay attention to your body and to figure out the way your body can move, how strong it can be, how the joints work, how the muscles can hold it in place, and connecting into those sensations.
Mhm.
Plus, dance parties are fun.
Yes, always. I agree with you. I agree with all of the things. Um, taking a break from your electronics.
Mm.
If you have access to the outside world all the time and they always have access to you, how are you going to be present in the moment? You are always worried about what is coming in on that electronic.
And that is such a hard one. The very makeup of these devices is to keep us addicted and to keep us on them. Like, apps are made to make you click them. They're made to make you spend your time and continue going through the resources there. They're made to keep you exposing. That is how they pay for themselves. If you have not paid for something, it is making money off of your very existence. And it is. And that is how all of this stuff works. So trying to just be able to take that step back and say, do I want to be doing this right now? Or does this want me to be doing this?
Yes. I mean, even coming back to me taking my kids to the river today, right? I have started being much more active on social media and putting out therapy techniques and things like that through that version instead of doing one-on-one therapy all the time. And I missed a day. I didn't put any notification out that I was going to be gone. I did not. I put my phone on do not disturb. And you know me, I don't ever do that. Like my clients have uninhibited access to me, which is stressful sometimes, right? And I got off the river and I got into the car and I turned my do not disturb off and my notifications went nuts. And it was immediate, like I had to bring myself back in because it was like, oh my gosh, I let all these people down. I have not responded to them. There were so many messages saying, hey, you didn't do coffee talk on TikTok today, right? Then I'm like, okay, first off, I did not know that that hour out of my day meant so much to other people. And also, that's pretty cool. But also, there is that factor of sometimes it's okay to disconnect. And it doesn't mean I let them down. Like, yeah, they didn't have me to listen to for an hour. Their ears got a break and they had to go find something else to do to fill their time while I took a break from electronics and technology. And
Yes.
it's what I needed to decompress and bring myself back down of being present and there with my kids because I know I get sucked into my phone and I will sit and answer client messages and emails and texts and phone calls all day long
Mhm.
in between talking to clients all day long.
Mhm. And at some point, it's that question of, all right, how do we regulate this? Is this possible to regulate? Where are we going with this? Like, we had internship year. I survived. I survived it. But you had the I barely survived it. You had the work cell phone, and the work cell phone had to be on constantly, and everyone had to have that number, and you were not allowed to have any boundaries. You were not allowed to turn it off. You are not allowed to put on do not disturb. And I would wake up dreaming I heard my phone ringing in panic attacks because of it. I never felt so good as when I tossed that sucker at the end of internship.
And that's so unhealthy. Like that is an
Mhm.
unhealthy, it's a quick way to create burnout
Mhm.
And I feel like there is this unreasonable expectation that people in a helping profession are supposed to be on 24/7. I am human. I have emotions. I get upset. There is a big difference in how I provide therapy to people and how I respond to my own stressors.
Mhm. It's true, it's true, and I know, like, I was very hard on myself in undergrad and in grad school, and it was very much, if I'm not doing the things I say perfectly, I should never be able to see a client. I have pulled that back to, I need to not be full of shit and practice what I preach. So I pulled it back to that. It's not I have to be absolutely perfect at everything or I should never tell I just have to try as much as I'm
Yes.
expecting anyone else to try. But there is that sense of, you're when the person said, "You can't have anxiety. You're a therapist." Like, just leave that in my medical record, please, and stop talking. I
I
will say
give
that doctor's gotten better.
I'm just saying, I give the best advice, but I will call you a see you next Tuesday faster than you can spin around if you piss me off.
But is that actually against your advice? Sometimes, probably.
But it
Sometimes.
depends.
I'm not
So
yeah.
most of the people that I work with, their problem is that they hold everything back and they internalize and they don't defend themselves, which I do a lot of. Like, oh Lord child, I bite my tongue. I bite my tongue and I bite my
Mhm,
tongue and I let people abuse me until I have had enough. And when I have had enough, I've got the text messages to show you.
mhm,
You will know I've had enough. And I tell my clients, stand up for yourself. You may hurt some feelings,
mhm,
but stand up for yourself because if you don't, they are going to keep doing this.
mhm.
And sometimes that is anxiety and stress relief, is just releasing what you have been holding for so long.
Yeah. I mean, finally saying, "No, that hurts, stop." And I think, with all of us, like, the goal is to say that sooner before we've been hurt for so long, before we are completely out of everything, before it turns into, I am going to completely rip apart this relationship and toss it to the side because I can't handle it anymore. Instead
Mm.
of, hey, could you not kick me accidentally? Instead of something we can fix, it's gone on too long. It's too ingrained. Our relationship is not good. It is not what we need. Flip you off, swear you out, there you go.
Yeah. And then you have those people who don't care. They don't care that what
Mhm,
they're doing hurts you as long as they accomplish. And sometimes that is their mission. Their mission is to hurt you.
mhm,
And it's okay to say, fuck off.
absolutely. And
For some
sometimes it's yeah, just say fuck off. I've given up. We just hit the explicit on every one now. I'm not even counting anymore. Yeah. Like, and it is, and, like, sometimes their intention is to hurt you. Sometimes their intention is nothing to do with you at all because you don't register to them. Like, you're not this interactive person that's this deep inner world and these feelings and these thoughts. You're just there.
yeah,
You're You're not quite a thing because you move and you have value, but you're not me because I know all my thoughts and I know I have them. I assume yours are exactly this. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And both of those are very painful to go through.
So when that
I mean,
happens, do we reach for the fuzzy animals?
oh, please do. Reach for the fuzzy animals and tell the person to fuck off.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, animals will de-stress you. And who can be upset and angry when you're hugging a fluffy puppy?
Hmm. They only mean well. They're so cute. Even when they're being annoying, it's because they're just being who they are.
Exactly. It's just because they want to love
Mhm.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes steal socks.
Give me a tangents.
Yeah, that's what it is. But it does. I mean, animals are so much easier than humans on lots of different scales. Like, there's sensory input you get from all of them. You can get deep pressure if there's a big dog sitting on you or you're leaning against a horse. The purring sound of a cat has this rhythmic, vibrating sensation that penetrates you. They've done some studies on that with healing, which was interesting. Something about the vibrations enhances healing skills. Yeah, I don't know, right? Have to relook that study and see what it was. But there's things about it, like the horses. They've been blowing me away in our groups this year. They've been doing amazing. We had one session where one of my boys pretty much stayed the entire 2-hour group therapy session with one person. Like, just, "Nope, you need me, you need to connect. I am here, I am breathing with you." Every time you get kind of a little, "People are looking at me," and take a step back, I'm taking a step forward and just staying here with you. And it was exactly what they needed. And yeah, and so there's just this ability to cut through the bullshit. They don't, like we were talking about, sometimes people don't see other people as full people. They only see that projection and that limited mindset. Animals don't have that. They don't tell themselves stories about things. They don't pretend what things are. Things just are what they are. They just, that's why a reflection in the mirror is another dog until I have evidence otherwise, because it is what it is until it's not. They don't, "Oh, well, I think the thing you did reminds me of when my mother-in-law stole money from me in order to pay for her vacation, so I think you're really in love with me." It's, they don't do that.
Yeah.
There's no blackmail involved. There is, "Do you have food that I want? Are you a person that I like, that I want to be near? Are you currently scratching an itchy spot that I have?"
Mhm.
It's just what is.
Yeah.
And it lets you just be. You don't have to create the stories. You don't have to respond back. You can just be with that fuzzy creature.
Yep. Absolutely. What I have a blind horse, so he's completely blind. And he's incredible. And he had a horrible life before he came here. And he so I've got, it's a very common theme of I work with veterans and first responders. So it's a very common theme of my anxiety comes out as anger. Like I'm mad. I feel like I'm not being heard. If I don't bully you, you're not going to do what I need you to do. Um, and I was going through that theme with a veteran today. And it was anger, 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 right? And we get out there with the horse. We hadn't even been in the pasture 5 minutes. And we're just standing there. The horse is blind. Like, other than hearing us talk, he doesn't know where we're at. We're just there. And like he's, feeling around. He walks all slow, right? And he listens for me. I love still head sidetrack. Okay. Anyways,
Mhm.
so we're standing there and I'm like, okay, but what does that mean for you, right? Like looking at that anger is coming from somewhere. And it finally came to it's anxiety. It's anxiety that nobody is going to care about me or to
Mhm.
feel that I am worthy of getting what I deserve. And it was like in that instant chance, like, and he was right there and he put his big old, like, he's a big boy. He came and he set his head right over the top of him. And this grown man just like arms around this big old fuzzy neck and just like broke down, right? Like feeling safe enough to be present. And I see that day in and day out with animals. And you can do it with any of the animals, right? It doesn't have to be a horse. I have seen people like my barn cats that were feral, like feral little kittens that had never been touched show, like they will get in people's lap and just be there. And that difference in how animals show up and they're able to sync their hearts and they're able to connect because they don't have that their expectation is you aren't going to hurt me. I'm
Mhm.
here and I want to connect with you and I'm hoping you won't hurt me.
Mhm.
I'm trusting you, right?
Yeah,
And if humans could do that, God, what a better world we would be in.
I know. And I think a lot of it is we rely so much on words and heads, and we have such a longer range of, "Let me tell you the story of my grandparents where they were young, that my parents used to," like, we have all of this extra stuff that we want to connect with as well. Animals don't.
Just let me be with you.
Yeah. They know what they've learned, that they're not passing on the stories of the ancestors of how we should act, and they're not,
They break those
they
generational chains the second they come out of the womb.
it's amazing. You pick them up, you put them somewhere different, and shit, done. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like they have that ability to say yes, to fully understand you as human would take, oh, this is, generational trauma reactivated with the cortisol levels during my own, pre-puberty, like
Yeah.
all of that
Humans are
stuff.
too damn complicated. Like, let's just let it all go.
Because when you do that, you come to that actual body awareness. You
Yeah.
come to that moment. You come to that, yes, maybe I can explain this anxiety by, the Cossack soldiers and my great grandparent who somehow managed to be scooped up by one and saved. True story, actually, it's fun. But like maybe I can explain my anxiety by generationally inheriting that. Or maybe I can just say, I'm anxious. Be here with me.
Mhm. There are so the way that I work, and if you are ever new to therapy with me, you'll be like, "Oh my god, she's a bitch. Like, she doesn't care," right? Because I will like, if you come and you need to rant and you need to let it out, like, I will let you. You rant, you let it out, and then I'm gonna say, "So what? Okay, that happens. You're mad. What else is behind that mad? Why are you mad?
Yeah.
Does any of that matter, or do you have a feeling that you're trying to, like, stipple in so you don't have
Mhm.
to deal with it?"
It's like after usually doing this, I notice it a lot with couples, but it's there in all the individual too. You kind of start listening to the rant, you start listening to the complaint, you start listening to the latest argument. And there's not that you're zoning out, but there's this fuzziness that comes over it. And instead of like listening to the specific words of, okay, well, he put the toothpaste on the left side, but it was supposed to be on the right side. And but I don't care. Oh, because you
Yes.
don't care. It's like instead of that, you're hearing I've asked this repeatedly and it didn't happen. I tried to fix this before. This is actually painful to me and he doesn't seem to notice. I just want him to see what I've done. I just want her to know I'm trying. Like you start to see those patterns and hear kind of that ebb and flow behind all the words. And okay, the latest complaint you got, the latest argument, the details aren't even going to make it into my notes because I write insurance notes, so no details go in there. They do not.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter in that sense. It matters in the bigger picture of, are you back here again? And if so, why? What keeps bringing you back to this spell? What keeps bringing you back to this type of interaction? What keeps bringing you back to this feeling? And what do you do with this feeling when you have it?
Why are you having it?
Yeah. And what else can we do? What's something different?
Yep. And that comes to using your creative outlets, right? Creative
Yes.
expression, journaling,
Mhm.
drawing, writing, crafts, painting, right? Like
Mhm.
all of those different ways that you can express yourself, that all of those words don't matter.
Yes. I mean, you gotta go with like old school X-Men cartoon show with the Jean Grey storylines, like, she has the greatest power, there's more powers in the universe, there's that power to create and that power to completely destroy, and, like, the feeling that you have been able to take something in you and take it out of you so people can hear it, they can see it, they can feel it, they can taste it, they can whatever, all at once if you want. Like, I made this, and you might not get exactly what I meant when I made it, but you can see some of me in it. You can get some of me. Here's this. I took all of this stuff and this thing came out of it. And it's good for the relief of that. And it's good, like journaling, especially. It gives boundaries to the boundaryless. So, the ruminative thoughts in your head and how they go and they go, they go, and they go. Yeah.
And
There's just
I
no stopping. Mhm.
there is, and I always tell people like don't don't limit yourself from your emotions, brain dump it, put it all out there. Don't try to think about what you're going to write. Just whatever is coming to your brain, put it out there. I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm happy, I hate you, like whatever. Put it on the paper and then go back and look through it and see what the themes are. Like, okay, cool. So I have these feelings, but why do I have these feelings? What part of this is relevant?
It takes it from just this thing that you're cycling around, and I feel this, so I'm thinking this, so it feels it, so I'm thinking it, and like each of those builds off of each other and makes it bigger and bigger, and it's boom. Okay, I hate you. Why do I hate them? Why am I around them if I hate them? What do I hate about them?
And
Like
why am I holding on to them if I do hate them?
yeah, like
What do they
we
add?
can't. What do they add that's good to our life? We can't hate something about another person without hating the same thing about ourselves. So that can create a lot of, if I abandon this person, I'm also going to have to give up on myself. And no one could truly love me either because sometimes I'm angry. Sometimes I snap at the puppy instead of cuddling him. And that makes me almost abusive. He's so cute. Like, but that can do that type of mind jump. If you even are aware of those things for yourself, or you can be like, I have no flaws in the world. I'm the most perfect human being ever. But this person, let me tell you about them. Let me tell you about everything I hate about them. They are so pompous and full of themselves. They don't think. But if you write it down and let yourself go back to it, you can make those connections. Like you're saying, look for that pattern, make those connections, challenge yourself on it. Do I hate them? Or do I hate this thing? Are they good for me? If they're not good for me, what am I doing? Am I good for me? If I'm not being good for me, what am I doing?
Yes. And sometimes it's as simple as, why do I need to be heard? What am I trying to say? How do I say it so that I am heard?
Mhm.
And sometimes that means taking the emotion out of it.
Because if you're having an argument and it's you've never done the dishes right, you've never done the dishes right, you've never done the dishes right. I did them right last week. What you're talking about? Okay, well, I know you did them right last week, but I had to tell you it, and you never listened to like. If you just address the words that are coming out of your mouth, you're going to come up with a different word because the feeling's still there. The reasoning is still there. If you're still not being heard and they say, I listened to you that one time last month. What do you mean you never are heard by me? Okay, let me pull up a different example. Let me have a different way of saying it. Instead of taking that step back and going, okay, I'm not going to yell at you about the dishes because who cares? But we're going to sit down and talk at lunch tomorrow because I'm feeling something and I would like help with that. That's hard.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard when you just want to be mad looking at the why, because then it requires you to look at you.
No, it requires me to stop my feet and cross my arms and say, I don't want to be an adult. Fine.
That too. That too. Amen.
Sometimes I'll do that if I'm complaining. I'll like keep the complaint going until I get to that point of, and I really am just tired and don't want to have to be the adult and do the adult thing right now because I just want to be lazy and it really is taking care of myself, but I can't do it right now. So fine, I'll do the dishes.
And also sometimes, friends, it's okay to just be angry and call that person and see you next Tuesday. Accept it and move on.
Well, and that's another big thing is like sometimes it is the environment. There's always interactions. There's always, and that's why boundaries are so important because there is always an I stop here and you start here. And that's the people around you, the space around you, the noises around you. Like if we're sitting here in our various offices and there's no AC in the middle of summer. Just the red faces, we're both gonna die a little. It's okay, Or when I do, go out for the short jogs in the morning, I irrationally hate every car that goes by because it's noise. Like, it's just, why are you awake right now? Why am I running right now? That's 7 in the morning and I hate you all for being on the road. Go away. This is my road because I am running down it.
This is my road today.
That's it. I am running down it. That makes it my road. Get off. They never listen.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a lot of little bits and pieces like that. And it's a lot of recognizing, can you change your environment? Do you need to? Is there something about the interaction between you and the environment? That doesn't mean you're horrible or the environment's necessarily horrible. There's something about the interaction. Perfectly wonderful things should not go together. We have all made volcanoes in elementary school classes. We know perfectly wonderful things when mixed together go boom. But yeah, sometimes, and that's not, oh my gosh, if anything's ever bad, run away from your environment ever. Take a step back. If you're really wigging out, go to a different location. Go on a paddleboard for a bit. Go outside. Go to your room. Put yourself in timeout and go to your room. Please go to your room.
I like
No
going
TV, no computer, no phone. You go to your room and you take a little nap. Maybe think about what you did. Mostly listen to music.
But what about the emotional support shows? Because I have a couple of those.
Well, you need some of those. I do. I have the bad sleep hygiene of I need the TV on to go to sleep. And it's two reasons. My wife needs the background noise so she doesn't listen to every single sound the house makes. And I just need something for my brain to focus on. But it has to be a show that we've watched multiple times that we don't care about watching. So we're just like, oh yeah, that's that episode. You just kind of listen to it a bit and then you can relax.
Yep.
But those are good.
I do the same thing. Gilmore Girls is mine. I've seen it so many times that just the noise, it calms me. I know what I'm listening for. We have an older house, so it creaks. I hear all the noises. We have a metal roof, so you hear every leaf that falls on the roof. And in my brain, I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's in the house. Who the hell's in my house? My dogs would be going nuts. But still.
You and wife do it both. That's why we have, the makeshift, not even a makeshift sword. I have an old Renfest wooden sword next to the bed. Just in case I need to jump up and check the house in the middle of the night, we have something.
Good.
Yeah.
It's important.
Absolutely. But it is like, you need, there's something about returning to the comfortable ritual. There's a structure, there's a pattern, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. All the drama's contained. You know where the storyline's going. You know how it ends up. Like, there's something about having that predictability again to go, okay, I know how I feel in this setting. Let me get back to there. All right, now let me go back and look at the other one. I watch an episode, let me turn it off and think about what just happened now. Let me step out of the room and see, how is the house? Now that I've come back down a bit, how do I feel putting on my big girl shorts and going to adult?
I don't want to.
Then you go back and you watch another episode.
Okay. This could be a slippery slope.
Safety matters, so everyone needs to eat and be cleaned and go to bed at some point. As long as someone is responsible for that, we're good. Someone's just,
Hey, I take care of the children. Like,
yeah.
Nobody said I had to take care of me too.
I did.
Oh, damn it.
I'm saying it. Yeah, sorry. Just take care of yourself. Sleep, eat, drink, move, and talk to somebody that you want to talk to.
Oh, good,
So,
because I take you every day, so we're good.
Perfect. Yeah. But you got to do all of those things. Okay. And if something's off, start with those 5 because it's probably one of them. For you right now, it's sleep.
I've been doing really good. I have been doing this like Pilates bar cross.
Oh yeah.
Every single day. It's called like bar definition.
Oh, okay.
I don't look like her yet. I'm praying.
Why not?
Consistently. She does like mindfulness meditations while she does it. So I listen to those. Like I'll be working out with her and I'm like, yeah, we got this. Let's go, girl. And then I'm like, oh, just listen to you talk for a few minutes. Then I'm like, oh, shizzle, 20 minutes just passed.
20 minutes of workout logged. Every little bit counts. 5 minutes is better than no.
That's all that matters. I was present with her.
Yes. Oh, all right. We'll wrap that up. So those are some of the things that we know of that we use. There's lots of others. There's lots of other movements. There's lots of other, basically anything that taps you into take a breath, take a break, be more present. Let your brain set everything else down for just a second. You don't do mindfulness meditation when you're in the middle of escaping from a collapsing building. You do it as soon as you're outside the door. Like, you don't
Yes.
do it when you can't put things down. You do it when there is no, the house is on fire and I should get everyone out, but first I'm gonna take a breath and say my mantra. No, you get the kids out first. We know.
Yeah.
There's no
And
mantra.
remembering that it's finding what works best for you. I
Mhm.
have so many people that come to me after years and years of therapy, and they're like, I just struggle and nothing helps because I'm trying to remember all these tools that my therapist taught me. Let all that go. Let it go. You don't need to
Mhm.
remember all those. You need to find what works for you that you don't have to think about
Mhm.
to calm yourself down.
Yeah. It's kinda like how whenever you're talking about, like, food diets and food regimens and stuff like that, it has to be something that makes sense, that is your life, that you wanna keep going.
Yeah.
Mental health and therapy and coping skills, they have to work for you the way you work.
Mhm.
Now, if you never enjoyed running once in your life and it makes you miserable to do it, running is not going to be a relaxing thing. It's just not. If you hate loud music, you should not listen to System of a Down. Don't do this. No, no, there's a let's age ourselves. We got this. No, like there's just things you should not do.
Yes.
Don't be someone you're not. Be the person you want to be.
Stop trying to be other people. Stop
Mhm.
trying to be other people's people.
Yeah, it doesn't
Be
work.
your own person.
And then you find your people,
I
and then
found
you
my
make podcasts with them.
yes. We sing and we dance and we hop around fields skipping. Who skipped around fields? I
Me
don't skip very
too.
well.
I don't jump rope very well, so that works.
I don't think I can jump rope very well either.
I can only jump rope by skipping. I can't do 2 feet together. It confuses my brain.
I'm not sporty, y'all. I can ride a horse. I now know I can paddleboard. That's the
There you go.
extent of it.
That'll work. That'll work. All right. We just have a wrap up. So, thank you all for listening to us. Feel free to argue back. Tell us what you like to do to calm down. Tell us what works for you. Just talk at us. We'll figure it out. If you found us here, you can find us again. We are on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are on YouTube, so you can watch all our lovely faces. And guess what is in our not see-through cups? Had to. It's tea.
Yeah, mine is tea today too.
It's like apple tea. It is. It is a tea day. Where else can they find us?
You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, where we are most active. And we are trying to be more active on TikTok. We are also going to attempt to go live more often so that we can be together and actively engage with all of you and answer questions. And let's be friends.
Yes, please. We like friends.
Assuming you're our people. If you're not, that's okay. We'll help you find your people.
Mhm. We're good. We're doing those boundary things, so we will figure this out too.
Yes.
But thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again in a couple weeks. So take care, everyone.
Yay! Bye, friends.